Today, we are looking at what's going on in the Arctic, wondering where the cold is. Many of you across the country this week, you're going to warm up. Next week, something strange is going on. We could get cold. There could be a storm, maybe an East Coast storm. We're going to talk about that. And beyond this, some of the models are hinting at cold, while the teleconnections are saying, hold just a second, because we're entering a phase as we head into not the upcoming week, but the one after, where it could be warm again. So I don't think this cold is going to last. On the channel here, I don't take sides on the weather. I just tell you what I'm seeing, and we're going to go pretty quickly today. So hold on to your seat. Let's talk about this flow. We're going to start off with this map. It's a temperature. It's the tropopause temperature, way at the top of the atmosphere. It's a good way to see the flow and what's going on. These little cold vortices, man, that's where it's really cold, where you see the white. But look what happens as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. We dump the cold into the west. Okay, this is going to be some chillier air. Temperatures are going to drop. We're going to get some snow out of this. On the east side of this, warm weather across a lot of the southern plains, into the lower Mississippi Valley, into the east. Temperatures warming up. Pretty cold across western Canada, but I want you to watch this anomaly right here. Look how this is charging into the Pacific Northwest. Look at how this is buckling up. We're trapping the cold way up north, but some of it in this wave is breaking off. And that's going to put some colder weather, I think, into the Great Lakes, into the east. But it's going to be relatively temporary. And it's probably going to just last, I think, through next week. This starts to flatten out just a little bit, and we see the ridging still going across the west. Notice this flow moving into the Pacific Northwest. Bit of a trough setting up here, and I think that means some active weather. And watch what happens on this side of the trough. Okay, so this would be heading into next week, Tuesday into Wednesday. Looking long range, notice how we're starting to dig our trough back into the west again as we head into the 17th, 18th, and 19th. So far to go. More to come on that. I'll be watching it. Here's a look at your temperature anomalies this week. This is the European AI. I think a good gauge at that temperature, extreme temperature that we're seeing here. I'm going to call it extreme. You're talking 20 to 30, in some cases more than 30 degrees above average, as we head into Thursday and Friday across parts of the southern U.S. And then once we get into next week, okay, this is what we're watching. The cold starting to build across the far southwest, warm in the east as we head into the weekend, but we start to cool off, I think, across Texas. Notice your temperature anomalies across the south getting below average. We're above average as we see that Pacific jet swing in, warming things up from Alaska, the Yukon, all the way down into the northern plains. Again, slightly below average in the south. Now, what happens after this? I don't know if we're going to really believe that it gets cold in the east and it stays here, but this would be this is the 7 days. Well, no, this is actually a temperature anomaly by day. I thought we were looking at the averages. We're not. I was looking at the ensembles earlier. This is live, if you can't tell. So if you're catching the live stream, welcome tonight. If you're watching it on playback, thanks for coming back and checking the videos out. If you're a subscriber, if not, subscribe. It helps the channel. I appreciate all of you guys out there who have, all the OGs. I give you a shout out when I can. Thanks so much, guys. You're awesome. But looking at the European AI, I mean, it looks cold. I don't know that I believe it just yet. Been fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on the models. Shame on me again for believing them. Okay. Here's where we are right now. We don't believe anything past day 7. I'd like to look at trends, but let's talk about the next 24 to 48 hours. An interesting look here across the Great Lakes. Some ice with this overrunning moisture. That certainly could cause some problems as we head into early Tuesday morning. So keep that in mind. Snow is going to start to pick up too in the Pacific Northwest across British Columbia. The Cascades, 1 to 2 feet of snow. Pretty impressive here. And then more snow on top of what we're getting now into the northeast as we head into Wednesday. And this could develop into a decent low as it spins off the coast. Otherwise, relatively quiet across a lot of the country. A few showers into parts of the mid-Atlantic. Otherwise, we start to quiet down. Southerly flow picking up, warming temperatures up. We start to see a ridge build across the east, trough in the west. Temperatures will be on the way down here as we see the snow moving back into the Four Corners states. Maybe some snow into parts of Arizona, into Utah. This is good news back here where we've not seen much rain. And then here's what we were looking at yesterday. This piece of energy and this one. Could they connect? Today's models are drastically saying no, they're not going to. This is going to get caught up in the jet stream. It's going to move pretty quickly while this energy hangs back across the Four Corner states and keeps the snow going. rain across a lot of the Great Lakes. Now, look, here's the deal. Some of you have been saying you need the rain across Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. There is some rain in the forecast this week. Not a lot. It's going to move pretty quickly. But in drought-stricken areas, anything's better than nothing. And now we're watching our front sort of stall here once we get into Saturday and Sunday. And the question is, as this trough digs, where we've shown you that strong flow that's moving into the northwest, up into western Canada, you start to see your wave buckle here a little bit. Do we end up getting some kind of storm with some snow on the backside of it, some wind, some rain? Do we kick the lake effect up? I think we do. I think this is looking more and more likely, at least the cold that rushes in behind this. I'd believe that before I would believe exactly where it's going to snow, but certainly a different trend on the way for a good part of the east while we warm back up across the plains. Temperatures back above average again. And look, this has kind of been the trend over the last couple of weeks. Cold around the Great Lakes, more cold on the way. We start to develop this clipper type setup on the European, and now you got to wonder, do you get something developing on this side of the trough? The European from today tried to advertise some kind of crazy snowstorm. Yeah, I don't know, right? Really far out. Let's look at the GFS. It's got that system also outrunning the energy across the southwest with the snow. I like to compare the two big global models to see what we're looking at, and they both have the idea, again, of this trough digging into the east and the upper levels. That puts it cold, windy, and snowy around the Great Lakes, into the southeast. Your ridge building back across the plains, also across the Rockies and the west, keeping it warm. A shot of some cold air trying to show up on the GFS late next week. It has a bit of a different look, but it's sniffing out some storms too. It's trying to find that winter storm in the middle of an unfavorable winter storm pattern. Keep in mind, the biggest snow that we've seen in the Northeast happened in a pretty unfavorable pattern. So watch this time period. We're talking about next week for all you winter snow lovers. Here's the snow we're going to see not today into tonight and tomorrow, but the next one that's coming Wednesday and Thursday. So a couple of inches. Again, some ice across Michigan possible here into parts of Ontario, but we're talking about maybe 2 to 3 to 4 inches of snow with this one across the west. Big snows piling up into the Cascades from Oregon and Washington south. Not quite into California, but we will see snow, I think, as we get into Friday into Saturday across parts of the Four Corners states. Let's talk about your temperatures now over the next couple of days. We'll start in the east and we'll work our way west. These are a look at your morning lows on Tuesday, barely getting below 50 in Nashville. Down into the south, that warm air really cranking up as we head into Tuesday afternoon. 60s all the way north up into Virginia, the Carolinas. 60s back across the Mississippi River Valley and into the Northeast. Relatively cold, but, we're still talking about 20s and 30s. And then that warmth works north now. Check it out, guys. 60s pushing pretty far north, all the way up along the Ohio River here, with 50s north of that. 40s and 30s to the north. Above average, though, across the Great Lakes region. And then check out Friday. We are getting really warm, even into the Northeast. We've got 40s and 30s, so we may actually get above freezing here. And a nice time to be on the Jersey Shore. I think the warmest day will be Saturday afternoon, probably here. Look at this, guys, up into parts of the Atlantic coast, the coastal plain here. I mean, are we really going to get to 77 here in the eastern parts of South Carolina? Man, that's some warm air, but here comes your front through. Cold weather back as we head into Sunday. Temperatures heading into Sunday night getting below freezing in many areas, down into the mid to 20s across a lot of this area, and then heading into Monday, high temperatures for this time of year could be much colder for sure. So now we're watching for something to happen along this warm and cold boundary. Do we get a snowstorm? More to come. Subscribe, come back. We'll track it together. It's madness. It drives me crazy. These models drive me crazy. Okay, I'm ranting. Okay. Let's continue to watch the cold erode this week across the central U.S. 70s and 80s in Texas. Boy, a time to be here. That warmth spreading north into Kansas, also into Oklahoma, all the way up to Minnesota. 30s International Falls above freezing overnight lows. Check this out. Red Lake Falls, Minnesota. Barely getting below freezing at night. All the way into Wisconsin. I mean, relatively mild, and the warmth sticks around this week. Now, we do get a cold shot behind this next system, dropping our temperatures back into the teens and 20s. And then there's the real cold starting to slide into the Rockies as we head into Saturday. And that looks like it's going to cool things down. These would be your high temperatures on Sunday. So we're not talking about 70s and 80s across Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas, Mississippi. We're talking about 40s and 50s. So bit of a setback. Look at this cold, though, moving into the west. As we head into Wednesday, starting off relatively cool, but, a little cooler up towards Boise, down towards Salt Lake City, 30s and 40s for highs. But we get colder, I think, as we head into Thursday, as highs barely get into the 30s now in Boise. Over to Salt Lake City, we may be in the upper, I don't know, if we'll probably be in the 30s, but definitely colder weather ahead, and you'll see it in the overnight lows dropping below zero into the mountains. It's been much colder here too, but definitely a colder shot of air here across the west. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your night. If it's not night where you are, good morning, good night. See you next time.